Well, the fate of a fortress-like landmark in Providence remains in limbo, as it has been for decades.
Yeah, it is a beautiful building, and plans for the Cranston Street Armory were scrapped after a political scandal. That was more than 2 years ago. So what's happening now? NBC 10 political reporter Brian Crandall is here with a look at the past, present, and possible future. Brian.
Well, Patrice and Jean, simply put, the state and city tell me there's no update on plans for the state-owned armory, apparently meaning there are none. But the building that's been mostly vacant for 30 years has been used recently by an industry that has long flirted with the armory. Action at the Armory. Famed suspense director M. Night Shyamalan films both inside and outside the nearly 120-year-old behemoth this summer. But that is fleeting. The future of the Armory itself is a mystery, after it was a supporting character in a mess 2 years ago. As part of an Armory redevelopment plan, 2 high-ranking state officials caused controversy while visiting executives with Scout, the Philadelphia firm hired by the state to turn the building into space for small businesses, nonprofits, and community activity. The hosts accused one of the officials of making racist, sexist, insensitive, and demanding comments. Within months, Governor Dan McKee scrapped the Scout deal that was signed by his predecessor, saying it was a bad deal with a potential $60 million price tag.
The proposal put too much risk on Rhode Island taxpayers.
But there's been no alternative plan. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley said at the time maybe the city would want the Armory if the state gave it $45 million. No apparent progress there. Meanwhile, the bills pile up for upkeep. $182,000 this past year, $325,000 the year before. $200,000 to $300,000 a year in the 3 years before that. Plus, as I reported in 2023, the state paid Scout about $650,000, $400,000 for initial work on their plans, and 6 monthly checks of $25,000 while the plan sat idle. Since the National Guard left in 1996, the Armory briefly housed the state fire marshal's office about a decade later and was used as a homeless warming shelter a few winters ago. But it's the movie industry that has given the Armory its most consistent interest and use. Shyamalan's production is the third to use the Armory in the last 4 years. So should movies be a permanent part of the script here?
It's an asset. It's a proven asset.
Stephen Feinberg heads the state's film and TV office.
Is the Armory a possibility to have a working film studio? Yes. What are the dollars that are required to make that happen?
And it would be a lot. We'll continue that part of the story coming up at 6 o'clock with a look back at how the film industry has been intertwined with the Armory for nearly 30 years. And could it be part of the path forward? We'll see you then. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.
An iconic old empty building in Providence, part of a scandal 2 years ago, sees new action.
Well, that's the operative word, because a well-known film director is using it right now to make a movie. NBC 10 political reporter Brian Crandall tells us that's happened before. Will it happen again, Brian?
Gina, Patrice, the state-owned Armory has not had a long-term use since the National Guard left nearly 30 years ago. Meanwhile, the state has paid about $1.4 million over the last 5 years for upkeep, plus another $650,000 to the company hired to try to put it to use, but then fired, and still no apparent plan for its future. It was a controversy almost out of a movie script. An infamous trip to Philly by 2 state officials, allegations of inappropriate comments as they met the team working on the redevelopment of the Cranston Street Armory. A few months later, Governor Dan McKee scrapped that plan, saying it was a bad deal for taxpayers. And now, more than 2 years later, the state and city say there are no updates. But there has been activity at the Armory. Famed director M. Night Shyamalan has been using it for a movie shoot this summer. And it's the movie industry that has given the Armory its most consistent interest and use. A year after the Guard left, a 1997 pitch to turn it into a soundstage.
It's going to be an eyesore if we don't do something with it. And here we can let it take on a new life.
Action.
Around that time, filmmaker Michael Corrente used the Armory to shoot outside Providence, building sets inside.
And saw this magnificent structure. And my heart skipped a beat. We'll do one more, Johnny. Slow it down just a bit.
And he had a vision for more there.
If the state sees fit to give me this building or let me use it or whatever arrangements we make, I plan to make 10 movies in here.
That didn't happen as financing fell through. But more movie magic continued years later.
So there was quite a lot of work done.
Rhode Island film and TV office boss Stephen Feinberg, the man tasked with luring Hollywood productions to the Ocean State, says Disney spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to clean up and upgrade the Armory before filming Underdog there in 2006.
I love that. That building is iconic. It's beautiful.
And he had plans for a permanent use.
And make it an anchor location for media.
But that didn't happen either. Feinberg blames a state decision to briefly move the fire marshal's office in.
I got the shiv in my back, of which I really have not let go of. It was a waste of time and a momentum killer.
More than another decade passed, but then a production revival. Hocus Pocus 2 in 2021, the soon-to-be-released Ella McKay last year, and now Shyamalan's Remain. His production is paying the state $10,000 a month rent. Begs the question, could a decades-old idea to turn the Armory into a film studio still work? Has that discussion been revived at all or no?
Very generally.
But has anybody from the state approached you
We've talked
recently to be like...
Casually. We've talked casually. The Armory is good. It's not great. It can be done. We've proved that we can use it and do it, and it's a success. It's an asset. It's a proven asset.
Feinberg says really high ceilings and a massive open space without columns make the Armory a draw as a soundstage, plus office space on the sides. The downsides, he says, limited parking. It's in a neighborhood, and it's old. Feinberg wants to build a movie studio in the next few years, but his preference would be to build new somewhere else. Either could cost tens of millions of dollars. But is the Armory still in play?
The Armory is still in play.
Meanwhile, community groups with an interest in the Armory are planning more talks about its potential use in the coming months. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.